Back in the 50s, the city fathers of Raleigh had decided to build a bomb shelter underneath the city, which had been a good idea until the wall fell and the USSR broke up. Then it just became an empty space. There had been a brief revival of the acres underground in the 70s and 80s, with restaurants and a thriving music scene, but even that had fallen by the wayside. The businesses had closed up, one by one, until the area had all but been forgotten, the entrances boarded up and built over. Until now. Though a far cry from Research Triangle or the posh setting downtown where Cisnet resided, the subterranean labyrinth underneath Cameron Village was more than adequate for our needs. All but forgotten by everyone except the most senior of residents, it held the most advanced electronic surveillance software in the world. Better than the NSA. More secret than the CIA. We parked in the garage, underneath which stretched a data labyrinth of servers spanning more than 3 football fields. Housed in concrete and surrounded with a state-of-the-art water cooling system, it was undetectable, even if you knew it was there. Clark typed a code into the numeric pad by the entrance, then placed his palm on the reader. It scanned, turned blue, and the door slid open. I walked in front of Clark. The corridor was really a scanning tube, mapping us both as we walked. Even after passing the code and palm print, software compared our strides and bodies to those on file. If I wasn't recognized by the system, the floor would instantly electrify with just enough charge to knock me unconscious. It freaked me out, and I never relaxed until I reached the other side and open air. It allowed me to pass, and I let out my breath in relief. An elevator awaited, taking us down 3 levels. A metal walkway led to the brain of Vigilance. The servers were the heart, but here, where dozens of screens lined the walls and 4 arched rows of multi-level workstations faced them, this was the eyes, ears, and the brain. A skeleton crew was working tonight, a holiday and weekend, and the manager in charge saw me right away. Setting aside the tablet he was holding, he hurried over to where Clark and I stood.
"Hey, boss,"
he said.
"Sorry to interrupt your evening."
"It's fine, Derek. What's going on?"
"Someone hacked us."
It took me a moment to process that statement because the likelihood of that event actually occurring was about the same as getting struck by lightning. Twice. "Show me." I didn't ask if he was sure. I'd had free rein to hire my staff, and I'd only chosen the very best. I'd even poached a few from Cisnet. Derek knew his stuff. If he said we'd been hacked, then we had. He used the nearest workstation to toggle one of the screens, and I read the network traffic log displayed. Shit. "It took them a while," I said. "Why didn't any of our penetration sensing alerts go off?"
"He disabled them."
Holy shit. "Scroll." Derek obediently scrolled the screen so I could follow the trail. Clark sidled up next to me.
"You can read that?"
he asked. I gave him a look. "Of course," I pointed. "See the lines in red? Those are denials."
"There are lots of those."
"Yes, because he was testing for weaknesses." I turned to Derek. "I'm assuming the IP trace led nowhere?" He nodded.
"Bounced around through a dozen countries before we hit a dead end."
"How long was he in?"
4 minutes before we blocked him."
"And you've addressed the weakness he exploited?"
"Yes, he won't get in that way again."
"What did he do while he was in?" I knew a hacker didn't need a lot of time to plant a back door so they could come back later, or a bot that would send data to him via our network.
"Looked around, basically. We've run file checks and he left nothing behind. It was like he was curious, and that was all."
Okay. Well, it looks like you've done everything I would have done. Good job. But it can't happen again.
"I've called in Maisie to harden the perimeter firewalls."
I nodded. Maisie was head of network security. She was going to be royally pissed that someone had hacked her firewall. "Let's work again on tracing that IP," I said. "Put Roscoe on it. He can sniff out IP trails better than anyone. Even if we didn't get him live, chances are he probably uses the same pattern when he's online. We might get lucky. And by Monday, I want to know everything that the hacker saw."